Okay, so you guys don't know me, but I've been a Minnesota Wild fan since 2000. I've been following and loving the Minnesota Wild since 2000. I am also a person who basically watched the Minnesota North Stars lose to the Pittsburgh Penguins and then basically heard Minnesota tell us, or heard the Minnesota North Stars basically say, sayonara, we're going to Dallas, and you guys can basically go F yourselves because we're never looking back. And I waited for a hockey team to be in Minnesota for a long time. I am a basically a diehard fan. I love the Minnesota Wilds. I've, loved the colors, the red, the white, the green, the wheat. Um, and basically, I love everything about the Minnesota Wild. I'm actually learning a lot about the Minnesota Wild as the seasons progress. But I've watched them since 2000 till now, and I've always heard the words, oh, we're always in a rebuilding year. Now, everything that has happened in the past is behind us. I think it's time for us to move forward by any means necessary. This year, we have Kirill Kaprizov back. Our team has gone out there and has shown that they deserve to be in the playoffs. They deserve to be there because they've played great without Kirill. They've played they've played great without Joel Eriksson Ek. They've played great with all the players that went down, but they always came back because we fans believe in our team and they've come back. And they've done it for Marc Andre Fleury. They've done it for him. So why not now? Don't you guys do it for the state of hockey? Why don't you guys put aside your differences and just go out there and win it? Now I can understand. I've been watching all the games now, and I'll tell you, I have seen some pretty crappy calls, and you guys, the Wild, have been screwed over by a lot of things because there was not enough conclusive evidence of Nyquist stepping on the line. Um, I saw four different angles of it, and that was not an offsides call. And offsides is by far, I think, one of the stupidest and dumbest calls in the NHL. I really think offsides is one of those stupid calls where they just stop breakaways because they don't want one-on-one action between a goalie and a player. And I think offsides is so stupid because when you have a breakaway and you're going balls to the wall, to get that puck around that goalie any way, shape, or form, you're doing everything you can to stick handle that puck down there. And if that player, falls over or whatever, that's his damn fault. He can't skate, or he tripped up, or he messed up. So that's his fault, and that's his mistake. So he should let that go. There shouldn't be a thing called offsides. Offsides and icing are probably the two dumbest calls in the NHL. You know, I've seen Ryan Hartman get checked, cross checked, hit in the face, interfered with. I've seen all kinds of stuff. Kirill Kaprizov getting punched in the face, sucker punched in the face. I mean, you know, It happens. Okay? It's hockey. But I'm not sitting here saying that, the game is played any differently. But come on, Vegas, you know, or come on, NHL. Why don't you give the Minnesota Wild a chance? You've been basically you've been basically fucking them in the ass the last 25 years. I think so because you don't want a team from Minnesota to ever win the Stanley Cup. Why not give these guys a chance? And I think Minnesota's ready to do it because the thing is all their players are healthy. I don't see why they can't go out there. I don't see why they can't go out there and win the damn thing. The Minnesota Wild deserve to go out there and win for the state of hockey. Win for Minnesota. Hey MC, how's it going? Um, but I think that Minnesota's got the chance to be a top five team. Now, will they beat somebody like the Washington Capitals? Probably not, because Alexander Ovechkin's hot. I mean, Wilson, top player, but why not let the Minnesota Wild go out there and give it a chance? Vegas, you've already won a fucking Stanley Cup. You don't need another one. Minnesota Wild hasn't won a damn Stanley Cup in the last 25 years. So, you know what? Everybody's healthy on the Minnesota Wild. So why the hell can't we get that opportunity? Why can't we get that chance? Why does Vegas keep pulling out these fucking stupid ass bullshit calls and winning with the calls? I went to the game on Saturday and I'll tell you, there was so many missed calls. If it was against the Minnesota Wild, it was called all the time. Perfectly, fine. Tripping, sticking, everything, hand passes, all this bullshit was always called against the Minnesota Wild. Because this is where the NHL is basically bending the Minnesota Wild over and literally, shoving it in their ass and saying, no, you're not going to win the Stanley Cup because you're a team from a small town or a small city or a small state. You call yourself the state of hockey. Well, yeah, it's the state of hockey for a reason, baby. Yeah. Because the thing is you know what? You turn our 10,000 lakes into 10,000 rinks in the wintertime. We play pond hockey here. We play outside. Because one, we're tough individuals. Hockey players are some of the toughest people in the world. I mean, they get hit by a hockey puck and they keep on freaking going. They lose 4 or 5 teeth and they keep on going. I mean, I don't understand what's up with the Minnesota Wild right now. I mean, John Hines, he even was sitting there talking today in the post conference after the thing, and they were asking him so many questions, and he says, he said, yeah, we went out there and we basically played our hearts out, but it just didn't go our way. Gustafsson went out of the game because he got sick, and that happens. Players get sick. So when Marc-Andre Fleury comes in, you play your hearts out for Marc-Andre Fleury. You play your hearts out for Gustafsson too, because he's part of a team. And when you guys are all together, when the Minnesota Wild are all playing together as a team, they could be a top 5 team. They could be a top 5 team because the Minnesota Wild won a lot of their games on the road when they didn't have Kaprizov. I mean, they don't need their top players to play. So what the Minnesota Wild have to do is, you know what? Don't worry about the effing referees. Do not worry about the effing referees. Go out there and play the game like you have a pair. Reach down between your legs and see if you have a pair there. And when you do, go out there and take what you got and freaking run it up. The Minnesota Wild deserve to win a Stanley Cup. They have a great team now. And people are probably going to say to me, this guy's fucking stupid. He doesn't know anything about hockey. He doesn't know anything about heart, and he doesn't know anything about anything. Well, I play a Santa Claus. I play a non-traditional Santa Claus called Camo Claus. I'm the one that comes to the hockey games every December and walks around the XL Energy Center telling people that I'm happy to see them. I want to be the Minnesota Wild Santa Claus at Christmas time. I want to be called Wild Claus. But you know what? That's your guys' choice. I may not look like I know a lot about hockey, but I've at least, played hockey. I've played roller hockey. I've played ice hockey. Even I've played indoor, you know, roller hockey. I've played that too. I've been a goalie. I've been a defenseman. I've taken a slap shot to the face. I've taken pucks to the shins. I've taken even a puck to the nuts. And I've still gotten up and played. I mean, hell, I would love to play for any professional team, but I never had the opportunity because I had that taken away from me because my dad decided to come to hockey practice one time. He saw me sitting by the stupid video game machines while I was waiting for my coach to open up the pro shop to get my hockey equipment so I could play goalie because my coach wanted me to play goalie because I was so big. I mean, yeah, I was a defenseman because I was big, you know? When I stood on skates, I was huge. But I wanted to play hockey. I didn't want to play no basketball. I didn't want to play no football. I wanted to play hockey. But when I was growing up, they didn't have hockey for us. No. After I graduated from Loudoun County High School, what did they come up with? They had a hockey club. Yeah, you could say I missed out on one of the greatest opportunities of my life. But I love hockey. I eat, breathe, and sleep hockey. Minnesota Wild just happened to be my favorite team. I love Marc-Andre Fleury. I love Kirill Kaprizov. They're great players. Bogosian, great player. Middleton, great player. He reminds me of Rod Langway. Rod Langway used to be a defenseman for the Capitals. And, I used to watch hockey all the time. I wanted to go to hockey games so much. I used to watch the Capitals. That's why I love the Capitals. I said that when they signed Alexander Ovechkin in 2005, I said that Alexander Ovechkin was going to be one of the greatest hockey players in the world. He was going to be legendary. But this is my address to the state of hockey, to the people who live in Minnesota. Stop saying that the Wild are done. And this happens to them all the time. Dude, it's not the Wild. Watch the goddamn hockey games. It's the referees. You can see the referees don't want the Wild to win. So what the team has to do, this is what the team has to do. The team has to go out there and shoot 50,000 pucks at Hill and wear him down to where he can't freaking be goalie anymore. So they have to bring in the second goalie, and they just keep on shooting the puck, crash his net, do whatever it takes to freaking make that goalie let pucks go by. And when that happens, and you score 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 goals, they can't do shit. So you know what you do? You go out there the first two periods, you give it all you got, score 10 goals, and walk away with the sucker in the third period. But you can see what happens, every hockey game. Teams can come back. So you have to go out there and you have to give it your all every 3 quarters. Every 20 minutes, you have to go out there and kick some ass. You know what? Don't go out there and cause the big fights or the big checks or whatever. Just go out there and put shots on goal. Make that goalie work for what he wants to do. Don't let the refs give it to him. Make that goalie work. Make Hill go. And if Marc Andre Fleury is the goalie, then play it for Fleury. Do it for him. Do it for Flower. Do it for the state of hockey. I mean, every year since 2020, I've always heard that Minnesota Wild has been in the rebuilding stage. Has been in the rebuilding stage, rebuilding stage, rebuilding stage. No, they just haven't been able to find the right players. And now we got the right players. Cuz you know, we don't we don't owe Suter and we don't owe Parisi any more money because those deals are paid off now. So you know what we do? We build up a salary cap and we go out and we get players that are wanting to play hockey. Don't go out and get these expensive ass players that only can play, one period and be done. Go out and get these guys that are willing to go out and build themselves up like Faber. Brock Faber. The kid is playing and playing and playing like the top best defenseman in the NHL. And that's what the kid from Denver is going to be like. I'm sorry that I'm half dead because the thing is I'm tired from going to work. I just got off work. I worked, a 13-hour shift. So I'm not going to be able to go to the Wild game on Thursday night. But I'm telling you right now, guys, they're coming home to our barn, and I sure as hell ain't going to let them win it in our barn. No. We're going to come out. We're going to come out at the XL Energy Center. We're going to come out shooting. And we're going to shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot at their goalie until that goalie is going to let thousands of pucks go by. And he's going to have a shitty freaking night. And I'll tell you right now, you guys have just got to keep on playing as a team. Keep on doing what you guys do. Because the Minnesota Wild, they are a top 5 team. They have a chance, and they deserve to be a part of this. I think they do. I think they have a reason to. I think they have a reason to be there. And I'm no Minnesota Miracle Man. I'm no Gordon Bombay. I'm just a guy who loves hockey. And I'll tell you right now, I'm sick and tired of watching the Minnesota Wild be passed off as a team that people think that don't deserve to be in the Stanley Cup playoffs. They deserve to be there. They just got to want it. That's what they got to do. They got to want it. And they go out there and they want it because every time they score a goal, they say, hey guys, you know what? We scored. Let's go out there and get another one. Let's go. I mean, every time Marcus Foligno put a check on somebody or put a hit on somebody, he'd knock them down and he'd keep on going. I mean, when we lost the first game, what did we do? We came back, we won game 2, and we won game 3. And then they won game 4. Okay? And now they won game 5. So there's no giving up. These are not. This is not just some pickup game that you can lose, guys. This is the opportunity to get those, to get those upgrades that you want at the XL Energy Center. Because if you win the Stanley Cup, you get that money you need to build the upgrades for your stadium. Yeah, you want $785 million in repairs? Win the Stanley Cup. You want the people to keep coming to the hockey games and keep cheering on the Minnesota Wild at the XL Energy Center? Win the hockey games. Win the Stanley Cup. I know you guys can do it. I know you guys can do it. You guys are a great team. The Minnesota Wild is a great team. And I just wish that, people would give them a chance. Because I think they're just getting passed up for no reason. And I don't know why. I mean, the Minnesota Wild deserve a chance. They deserve a chance. They deserve a break. And they need to win Lord Stanley's Cup. It needs to come to the state of hockey. The state of hockey is not Detroit, okay? I'm sick and tired of them calling it Hockey Town in Detroit. It's not Hockey Town, Good for you, dude. I don't know who you are. Some person joined Telegram. Woohoo, big deal. I'm getting tired. But the thing is that, guys, we don't need this. No, we don't. We don't need to be pushed out by the NHL. The Minnesota Wild deserve to be in the Stanley Cup playoffs. They worked hard to get there. They were the top team in their division at one time. And they just need to keep on playing like they want to be there. And I think they can do it. I'm half dead because I just got off work and I'm tired. But, I believe in them. So maybe you guys should too. But I'm just one fan. I'm just a person who loves the Minnesota Wild and, hopes that something turns around for them because they deserve it. They deserve to win. Yeah, they deserve to win. But I know you guys are probably tired of me and everybody wants me to get off here and everything else. I mean, I'll probably get static for the video. I'll probably hear something about it, but I've already had somebody tell me that I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. And I've already had somebody on the Minnesota Wild fan page say that, no, this is going to happen to them again. They're not going to make it to the playoffs. Or they're not going to win the playoffs. They're going to lose the first round. Well, they're doing pretty good this far. They've gotten this far. And they've been winning games that the referees, have just let the Vegas Knights have everything. So what the Wild need to do is the Wild need to go out there and just not worry about Vegas and just do what they have to do. And that's win. Yeah. Winning ain't winning if you can't win big. Right? Isn't that the coach of the Hawks and the Gordon or in the Mighty Duck movies? the game changers, the second chancers. I think what Minnesota needs to do is Minnesota needs to go reach down and think about everything that they're doing and go the whole 9 yards. And I mean, go. They got this, you know. But I'm done. I'm done talking. You guys are probably tired of listening to me. So, I got to get some sleep. But anyway, so if you go to the Minnesota Wild game on Thursday, and you watch the boys playing a hard fought game, I just want you to know that they're going out there and trying to play it the best they can. They're going to win it for themselves. They're going to win it for Minnesota. They're going to win it for the state of hockey. And they're also going to win it for Marc-Andre Fleury, a player who I hope he retires for the Wild. I hope he does, because I love Flower Power, and I think he's a great goalie. I think he's gotten a lot of good records with Minnesota, and I think he deserves to stay here. But I know you guys are probably sitting there like, who the hell is this guy? Why is he talking about the Wild? Why does he sound like he doesn't really give a shit about the team? Well, I love the Minnesota Wild. I love them so much because I think they're a great team, and I think they deserve to go very far. I don't understand why that they seem like they've been really screwed over by the refs and the officials, because I think the refs are just, not calling things. I think they're not giving the Wild a chance because they call it a small state. It's not a state that has like 2 hockey teams in it. It's not a team that, deserves to win the Stanley Cup. Well, why not? But anyway, I'm just one man, one fan of a great team that I love so much, and I hope that we go really far. I know that I just sound like I'm talking out my ass and I'm randomly talking, but the thing is that the Minnesota Wild, to be 100% honest with you, I think they can do it. I really think that they could win. They could win and go really far. I mean, maybe not win it all, but at least get past the third round, or at least get past the second round. I don't know. Well, in the state of hockey, let's play hockey. All right, guys. Have a good night or a day.